We have 1 year anniversary since Anton said there is a trash culture. And I'm not going to say his exact words because then people clip that and make reaction videos to me. So I'm not going to do that because I do not want to be clipped and put into a reaction video today. Right. So I want to begin, and I want to start off by saying this is not about Black culture. This is not about Black culture, which I still don't understand what it is. I say that for a reason because I see Black people as Americans. I see you guys as an American culture. I don't really see that much of a difference. I've always said that to you, but a lot of people don't like to hear that. A lot of people, there's subcultures. In America, I see different nationalities as subcultures here. People who are Americans, if that makes any sense. Unless you are from a different country, first generation, second generation, I see you as an American. So that's why. Anyway, I want to start off with my first banner to you guys, and that is from birth. Let's start from birth. Okay. Oh my God. The trash culture versus, I want to say, the cultures that are more successful. And the trash culture is not Black culture. I repeat, it is not Black culture in my book. The trash culture to me would be Western culture. It would be what we see in America is gone to trash. And if you guys didn't see, Trump recently did a speech. I don't know if any of you guys are Trump supporters or not, but Trump just did a speech recently this week, and he spoke about a lot of things that I want to talk about today, but in a different way. So from birth, in America, when a person is born, right? A person is born, there are so many, so culturally, what I see, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong. Like I said, you can always call in and let me know where I messed up. Culturally, I see that when a person is born, there's not that many rituals that Americans do. There's not that much expectations. There is, especially with the current culture, I see that with the small children, babies, toddlers, even up to like 5 years old, there's not that much discipline anymore. I see that children have no respect for authority in this country, no respect for the parents. Just recently, a video came out showing these little children. They were like 3 years old, 4 years old, and maybe one was like 9. These children were shoeless. The small ones were in diapers. The diapers were sagging off of their bottoms. They had on no clothing, only the diaper, no shoes. They were hitting the police officers. There were police officers just standing there. And the children of 3 and 4 years old were hitting the police officers, assaulting them, cursing at them. Just nonsense. And these kind of things you will not see in other countries. But this is something that we have in America because this is a trash culture that we're living in right now. I noticed that children are not held to any expectations in this country. I've also noticed that in schools, even the teacher has no authority to do anything to the children. Children act out, and even when they call the parents always take the child's side instead of actually saying, my child did this, I'm going to deal with it at home, don't worry. Teacher, you called the right person, I'll take care of it. It's never like that. You see, the parents arguing with the teacher. Well, he didn't do anything wrong. No? Well, why are you punishing him? Well, and it's like, there's no accountability. I wanted to move on to adolescence in this country. Now, before I move on, wait, from birth. I'll give you the other example from the other culture. I need to give you guys both ways. So from the other culture, when the children are born, let's see, in our society, well, in our cultures, however you want to call it, we have expectations. We have certain things that we have to live up to. And even from birth, these things are already started to make their plans. Discipline is paramount in our society, in our culture, and so on. So we have never seen that scene that I talked to you about the little children in diapers with no shoes on, no nothing, hitting police officers, disrespecting them, cursing at them. We never see that. Adolescence in this country, I have seen that children grow up too fast here. The children, they grow up too fast. They grow up with no proper leaders. No one has a proper leader in this country. A lot of the children see political figures as leaders. They grow up looking up to singers and actors, and these people don't live the proper lives anyway. Their actual lives are trash, as we see with many of the actors from Disney. A lot of them are snorting certain powders at night, hanging out with let's just say people of the lower class. They're doing the most dirty things and then working on Disney Channel. And the children are looking up to them because they have nothing else to look up to, especially at home. And they have no respect at home either. Our adolescents from other culture. In adolescence is the strictest time for us. It's when we start being separated. So as children in our cultures, when we're together as children, we are equal as children, right? And then what tends to happen between the ages of 7 and I would say 13, between the ages of 7 and 13 is when parents start separating the duties, separating the children. Women, girls, start getting treated more strictly. The boys do nothing in our families. In our families, boys are kings. Just recently, I believe it was 2 weeks ago, I was talking to a lady here on this channel on the panel. She was on the panel. Her name, Mrs. Carter, I believe. Miss Carter, you guys remember her. She was on the phone on the panel. Now, Mrs. Carter, I'm so sorry, but I have to pull up something that you did because I saw it and I didn't say anything, but I'm going to tell you something. We were on the panel. Her son, I think he came into the bathroom when she was talking to us and she said, "Shut up, boy." You guys remember that? She said, "Shut up, boy." Regarding a mother's tone with her son, in our culture, a woman, she dare not speak like that to her son because for us, by the time a boy is age 13, he can now be considered our guardian at that point. Does that make sense? I know for a lot of Americans, you guys are like, oh, he's still a boy, he's still a child, he doesn't know anything. Not for us. For us, we understand that little boy is going to grow up to be a man that can backhand us later. Because the respect has to be equal. It has to be like the mother can respect the child respects the mother. That's how it should be. But when I saw Mrs. Carter say even just the simplest thing, and the thing is, even if she does that in her own home, that's fine. But you were on a panel in front of who knows how many people who are going to see it, and you spoke to your son like that. Hey, some houses are different, right? Some houses are different, but this is part of culture. This is part of not having certain etiquette with your family members. Because what I saw was okay, I don't understand how that kind of language is used with your son while you're on a panel. I cannot even imagine the way you speak to him when you're not on panel. I can't imagine. And God forbid you be irritated or upset. I don't know. In Saudi Arabia, I'm not from Saudi Arabia, but in Saudi Arabia, you need permission from a guardian, which has to be a male, to leave your home. You need permission. We call it mahram or wali. He can be either one, which means a person that you cannot marry, whether it be your son, your father, your father-in-law, your brother, so on and so forth, uncle. These are the people that are giving you permission to leave out of your home. If your husband dies or if he is away, your son will now become your mahram. He will become your guardian. So if I want to leave my home, I will make sure that my son knows I'm leaving. He signs off on the permission and I leave. Do you understand how much it's responsibility, but it's also putting a boy in a place, understanding that he was a man and he's the protector of the family. Does that make sense? So doing that from young, letting him know that you are important in the family. In adolescence and all the way through childhood, the boy children do nothing in our family. They kick their feet up and sit back. They just, la, 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 la. I'll give you an example. When I was a kid, so I had my auntie, she used to come over the house, and it was my mother. So when my auntie would come over to the house, Of course, it's like we have to prepare the tea, we have to prepare the snacks, we have to get up and make sure everything is clean, right? My mother would say, hurry up, get up, get up, get up, girls, because it was me and my cousins. She'd say, get up, girls, get over here. You vacuum, you go wash the dishes, you go start, cutting up the vegetables for dinner. And then the boy would be sitting there with his feet up in the air. She would go to him and say, do you need something to eat, honey? As if we didn't exist. We didn't exist, because this is the culture that we're raised in. We are like, how can I say? I don't want to say we're servants, because then people are going to say, oh, you want us to be servants, Ameera? No, it's just that there's roles in the family, and we understand our role. Because we know that little boy who has his feet kicked up, later on, he's going to be working harder than all of us. He is going to have a hard life, and we respect that. So the girls work hard and the boys relax. Right. Adolescence, virginity is very important. You guys already know that. Virginity, keeping the girls pure and keeping them modest. I have seen, now don't get offended, Latinos. Latinos, don't hate me. Don't hate me. I was outside the other day. I saw a beautiful young girl. She's having they call it the quinceañera. The quinceañera is the 15-year-old party that they do for girls. This girl, she's walking around in this gown, pretty gown. It's like a dark blue color, royal blue color. And she has a crown on her head. Her arms are out, and she's wearing this thing that cinches her waist, and, all of that. Latinos, don't hate me. Don't hate me. You would not see that in our culture. You would not see that in our culture, because we tend to try to keep our young girls away from the eyes of others. We want to keep them safe at home, keep them guarded, so that the eyes of men are not just sitting there like drooling over them. Does that make sense? You should have seen how many men were sitting there watching this little girl, 13 years old, and she's parading around in the dress. Of course, she's happy because she's having her, I guess, sweet 15 or something. But I thought about that when I saw it, and I was like, you would never see that in our culture, because fathers especially, they would die before they have their daughter outside in a dress parading around with her arms out and wearing a tiara. There's no way. So that's the difference in adolescence. I understand that adolescence is celebrated in Western culture, and it is like sweet 16s, sweet 15s. Everybody's like, oh my gosh. For us, we don't get those things. We never get those things, because we believe that we should keep, I guess, I don't know. We should focus more on our traditions and trying to keep skills at home caught up, rather than trying to parade ourselves around at the age of 15 or 16. It just doesn't make sense to us. So that's adolescence that I wanted to speak to you guys about, with the differences in culture. Next, the age gap respect. This is part of the respect of respecting your elders, respecting authority, respecting a hierarchy. There's no hierarchy in the United States anymore. Even, I don't know about, okay, so in Europe, I used to live in Liverpool. In London, there is still some, because of course of the queen and all of that nonsense, but honestly, if it's not the queen, nobody else respects a hierarchy. In America, it's even worse, because America is a place where we don't have kings and queens, so a lot of people make themselves into kings and queens, right? So everyone is a king and a queen in their own right here, which means no one is a king or a queen. So age gap respect. In many Eastern cultures, we have such a strict culture of age respect that it's almost, if we have two brothers, if one brother is 2 years older than the other, that is seen as like, you have to respect your older brother. No, what your older brother says goes. Does that make sense? It's not negotiable. It's not negotiable. Age, hierarchy, and so on is respected. I gave you guys the example a while back of women not being able to speak. If we have family get-togethers, the younger women are not allowed to speak. We're not allowed to just have a full conversation with the men. We can't do that. Only the older women are allowed to sit down with the men, especially the older men, and have conversations like equals, almost like equals, because we're never equal, but almost like equals. I would say the men here, women is like there. That's the only time, is when you're older. But when you're young in our culture, you cannot just go to the men and say, hey guys, what's up? Nice to see you guys. Oh my God, how you been? No, we cannot do that. They're gonna look at you like a crazy woman. Respect yourself. Go where the other women are. That's what they're gonna say. Respect yourself. Go. Go to where the other women are. Go cook something. Go watch some of the children around here. There's children running around. Go do something with them. That's just the way it is. Only the older women are allowed to be expressive like that and sit with the men. It's age gap respect. And like I said, even at family gatherings, I would be in the kitchen sweating, like peeling onions, doing whatever I need to do, peeling onions, cutting onions, and peeling. You guys understand. I'd be doing what I needed to do in the kitchen, sweating, while all the elders would be just laughing it up, having a great time. That's just the way it is. It's just the way it is. I don't see that in America. I don't see any respect for authority, for age, respecting the age of a person. Trump just recently spoke about, I believe it was in Philadelphia, if I'm not mistaken, a 70-year-old man, 71-year-old man, 72, something around there, was just recently assaulted in the street. No reason at all. He was just outside. And you had these teenagers come, and I believe they put him in some kind of a trash can and burnt him alive. There's just no respect. There's no respect for the old school. There's no respect for, as they call it in Spanish, la vieja escuela. There's no respect for la vieja escuela. Everybody, even at the stores, if I go to the stores, I see all the time where you'll see there'll be like an elderly cashier, or maybe the person behind you is elderly, and people just push past them, pushing them out of the way, speaking down to them, telling them to, cursing at them. I'm just like, this kind of stuff is the signs of the decay of society. That's what I speak about all the time on my own channel, but we won't go into all of that right now here. But it's a decay of civilization, of society. That's what it is. That these are one of the signs, is the lack of respect, and especially lack of respect for elders and age, because these people are wise. You can learn something from them, but instead you think you're better than them or smarter than them because you have what have you. I know. I will start ranting if you guys let me. You guys don't want to see that. Expectations. I spoke about a long time ago. I spoke about the expectations of women. I spoke about when a woman gets married and you get into a relationship, you get married in our culture, it's so many expectations of women that it can be depressing. It can be depressive, pardon. I'm sorry, I did miss a super chat, guys. I'm so sorry. Rod said, why don't you focus on your culture, country versus others? That's what I'm sharing with you guys right now, is my culture and country versus America. So I didn't know if you are listening. Hi, Black Titan. Thank you so much. He says we have to preserve our elders. We do. We do. Because there's so much wisdom coming from them. There's so much wisdom. So, expectations. I spoke to you guys about the expectations of women when they get married. Typically, the in-laws of the men, the husband's parents, are typically the ones that put all the expectations on the new daughter-in-law. Typically, they're the ones, and especially the woman, especially the mother-in-law. I brought that up to you guys a while back, how, they want to, oh my God, there are families that want you to bow, and it happens. I wish I could show you guys a video. There's videos of Muslim weddings. Now, this is more in the Kazakhstan, Turkmenistan, Turkish, that area, that region, but they're all Muslim. There are families that require the woman to bow down, and there's videos of it. I wish you guys can see. There are families that are requiring that the new daughter-in-law be the slave of the in-laws. Once you get married, you are the slave of your in-laws. You dare not talk back to them. You dare not, hi, Catherine, hola, ¿cómo está? You dare not talk back. You dare not be their maid, their servant, their everything. there's cultures like that, and this is something that I don't fully agree with, but there is a certain level of, I would say there's a certain level of traditionalism, of respect that comes with it, and I don't see it here. I see that expectations of women who are going to get married in this country are very low. They're very low. There's no expectations for a woman in America to get married. As long as you are a female and he's a male, you guys are good. Oh, well, not even that anymore. You don't have to be female or male. Doesn't matter. You could be a gender, which means no gender at all, or you could be one of the 79 other genders that are out there, and you can get married. I I don't know. I don't know what's next. Maybe it's going to be legal to marry your cat, marry your dog, because right now I see that the churches, I've seen, and this is another thing, churches are marrying same-sex people, and I don't understand how. And you guys may ask, what does that have to do with culture? The church used to be a part of American culture. Used to be. It's not anymore. People have taken it out. They say, well, there should be a huge separation between, church and state, which, okay, I agree on that, because not everybody has the same church and has the same values, but there should be some heaviness to the church. There should be some seriousness in the church. I drive past the churches that are here in this area. A lot of them have rainbow flags hanging, flying outside, rainbow flags. I mean, what does the church even mean anymore? It doesn't mean anything. It's just another, honestly, the churches might as well just be a club now, honestly, from what I see from outside. It's sad. Finally, death. Death. The thing that we don't like to talk about. Death. It's going to happen to all of us, eventually. But death. I've seen that there's such a lack of respect for the dead in this country as well. There's no... When Kevin Samuels passed, it was so evident how the lack of respect of him in life was exposed even worse during his death. It was like they just okay, let's get off of Kevin Samuels. But death here in this country, I see that there's no respect for the dead. There's none. And I mean, just thinking about how we treat our dead, the way that so my husband, he has his father. He every Friday goes to his father's grave to go see him, to talk to him, go pray, anything. And here, I mean, there are people who go to cemeteries, which is nice. But I've seen people living next to cemeteries as well. And oh my God, I have a story for you guys. Don't laugh at me, okay? So I knew someone who I think she was from either Colombia or Nicaragua, somewhere from there. She didn't speak very good English. And she was my friend's mother. So she and her daughter were moving. And she said, oh my God, so we're going to be moving to this beautiful house. We got the best deal for this house. It's amazing. It's big. And the house was going for almost half price. And we were wondering why. Why is this house going for half price when it's like $1 million home? Don't get ahead of me. She said, it's a beautiful house. It has a beautiful yard next to it with flowers growing. There's always new flowers. Every day when I look outside, when I come there to go visit the house, there's always new flowers. We came to the house after she bought it. We looked over to the other side of the yard where she was talking about all these beautiful flowers being outside. It was a cemetery. And I think that the people took advantage of her because she didn't speak that good English. And I think what they were saying to her was, mira, hay bonitos flores aquí, mira, hay una yarda, hay césped, which basically saying that it's so beautiful, there's beautiful flowers outside, there's a yard, there's a grass and everything. And I think she understood it wrong. And then she says, it was a cemetery. If you guys don't know, Latinos are very much suspicious of how can I say, like, not like suspicious. What is the proper word, guys? It's like you. God, I know this word. I'll figure it out later. But ghosts and those kind of stories are very popular in Latino culture. So this woman, she ended up trying to get out of that deal and she couldn't. So she put up a big fence next to between her and the cemetery, and she lived there.